Previously on the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Let's see. It's Jesley Brett's research. After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical facility and borrowed this paper. According to this report, authored by the visiting research student from England, the curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Cheers! She just eats it and keels over. Oh, that was a bad idea. That was a bad idea. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. He just lunges at her. Die! What if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poison water? Inside? Silly boy. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen. Catch it! Somebody catch it! No blood. No blood anywhere. That's right. Miss Jesley Brett. It's you! Oh. It's alive! Everyone duck! No, let go! Stop it right now! No! We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. And now back to the... Mr. Swan, what are you... No, get back! No! What's up, everybody? This is Jackmore, and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be continuing with the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, and I've been itching to get back into this game. It's normally when I play these type of games, especially just a really engaging, story game, it's I could just binge it forever. Whenever I'm not, working or sleeping or doing anything that would, that's vital to, survival, like eating, I'd be playing this. As obviously I'm talking about normally, as opposed to, making it for a video, where I kind of have to pace myself. Not used to it. But yeah, so it's been a few days since I last recorded, and I've been like all day at work today. I was like, oh, I really want to get back in and play some more of this. Especially now. Now we're getting into the meat of the game. The last 3 episodes were all, the tutorial case, which, it was a pretty solid case. It was fun. But, every Ace Attorney game is like that, right? They have that initial case where they just kind of throw you into a trial and just teach you the mechanic. So in the last episode, though, we got to prove not only Ryunosuke's innocence, but also that I still don't know how to pronounce her name. I apologize. It's weird. I've been calling her Jesley. I don't think that's right, but it sounds the best, if that makes sense. At first I was thinking, is it Giselle? But I'm like, that's not how you spell Giselle, unless it's a weird spelling of it. And it's also not spelled that way. Giselle, if I pronounce it the way it actually is spelled. But that just sounded weird to me. Giselle. So, I've been going with Jesley. So anyway, Jesley Brett. We proved that she was the killer, that she poisoned the professor. We still never really got a clear answer as to why, specifically, what was going on there. But, unfortunately, since she won't be tried in Japan, since she's, a citizen of, I guess, England, she's, has to go back to England and get tried there. So, I wouldn't say this case was for naught, because obviously the purpose of it was to defend our client, in this case Ryunosuke, but kind of a shame that she's going overseas and who knows what'll happen. That's why that and the fact that, like I said, we don't know all the specifics about this case yet, why she did it, who exactly she is and all that. I'm 99% certain we'll see her again later on. So I'm sure she'll have some important significance to the overall story. And last thing, I guess, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, Kazuma. He has something to tell us. I think he's probably gonna, in some way, we're gonna end up going to England along with him, because I'm pretty sure that's where a big part of this game takes place, if not the rest of the game. But yeah, he didn't get to tell us that yet, and they alluded to the fact that something might happen to him. I don't know if they were alluding that. It was just the way they worded it. It might have just simply been like, oh, he hasn't told us yet. He's gonna tell us, you know, in the next episode. Who knows? Anyway, I'm on the main menu because I didn't want to jump into the case because it might start with, you know, a cutscene like the last one did. Ooh, but I'm so excited. We're getting new case. We get to do our first investigation of the game. Let's go. Continue. Start. Oh, what was it? The case of the speckled band or something? Oh, here we go. Episode 2. The adventure of the unbreakable speckled band. Ooh, I see a cruise ship.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I...
Sholmes?
With bated breath.
Wait. Okay, hang on.
In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air.
Wilson? Is that supposed to be like Watson?
I raised my dark lantern shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson.
Sorry, I'm not talking too much. I'm just trying to take this in.
This was an enormous adder, its fangs bared
Ooh.
as it threatened to strike.
Is this like fiction or actual event?
Terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Ooh. Okay, so the speckled band is referring to the snake, or whatever you called it. Okay, that was an interesting way to start. I guess that was setting up what's about to happen. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I didn't know that was going to auto-scroll.
So then, let us unravel this mystery.
Is that
and discover what events
Oh, yep.
led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me.
That's Sherlock Holmes or Sholmes, whatever his name is.
Inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery.
Ooh, those are always fun.
In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor.
Okay, one of those.
Almost certainly with the ink from this upset
Oh.
bottle.
I was going to say that's a weird color blood mark. Blood splatter.
So the victim was a Russian man then, and the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script, and evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality.
Okay, so not Russian? Ooh, that's a cool gun.
Placed just prior to the incident by the victim himself, I would venture.
Ooh, he got all the technology, doesn't he?
What have we here?
Is that a body or somebody hiding in there?
What do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait.
That won't.
Oh, I'm gonna have to do Russian
You
accents.
see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What?
Okay, that's the girl from the before, right? Suzuka?
Murder. I need cabin locked from inside.
Is that her name? Suzuka?
Room, but that mystery is paper thin.
Sherlock Holmes is on the case.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Oh, she has a British accent? Is that the... Maybe I'm wrong.
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Herlock Sholmes.
Oh, Herlock Sholmes, okay.
You must have heard of me.
Nope. Can't say I have. Herlock. They just switched they just moved the S. That's funny. Okay. That was... Ugh, my head is throbbing. Okay, now... I doubt I can read... Oh, I can. Okay, so the thing from before said 9th of January, 6:37 a.m. on board the steamship Buria. So that was just setting up where that cutscene took place. And when... Ugh, my head is throbbing. So am I Ryunosuke again? Or am I... What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Ooh. We're on the ship, it looks like. Okay. Okay, Ryunosuke, I am. Wait, I can't move. Oh, sleep paralysis! Don't you hate that? Oh, or that. Or I'm handcuffed. Ugh, what the? Why am I in handcuffs? Do these cases ever start out well for us? Like, really? So you wake up now, Also, the Russian guy. Okay, let me think. We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. Oh my gosh. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. Is that even a Russian accent? Like, I don't know. Like, I even just heard them speak, too. I need to brush up on my Russian, maybe, by the next episode. You... Ha! You found me, then? Da! We found you. And now you pay. Criminal! How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, sorry. Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Da! Let's want to find out how cold the ocean is, Oh no! I'll tell you everything. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... Okay, Suzuto. Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Miss Suzuto? Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? I'm so confused what's happening. Where? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? Uh-oh. Is he the one who's dead? Wait, did we get a good look at the body? If you... Ha! You pretend you do not know? You are a wolf in sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. What? Come again? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. Oh boy, I had a feeling. Here, in this very cabin, that was bolted shut from the inside. His body? Please. Do not try to tell us we are doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs. Surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Like really? I'm gonna be I'm the defendant, or you know, the accused in 2 cases in a row. A little overkill, but okay. Let's roll with it. Answer me, please. No. No! Kazuma. It was just 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Ha 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 ha. Don't you find it funny being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor? I thought I was going to die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. Really? I just snuck on? You must be even less of a man than you look. Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But, if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. Ugh, I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. Oh, great. So that's it, right? They found me, obviously. Kazuma dies and they were able to find me. And so, since I'm a stowaway, they obviously naturally suspect me. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotava, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we can confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, That would make her guilty by association. Okay, so protecting her so that she doesn't get in trouble. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Yeah, that didn't work out well for us. Or me. Anyway, it's about the time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the table. I know it's cramped, but you better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I tell you what, why don't you write keep out or something in this piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. This doesn't seem like a great idea. What could possibly go wrong? Ha 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 ha. 2 weeks later, I'm in chains. We've only been at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. Cool, so we're not in England yet, but we are on our way to England. We leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer? No, I'm not a murderer. Again. Duh. You said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No. That's not right. My accent's all over the place. I'm sorry. I mean, yes, I did stow away on the ship, but... murdering my best friend? Ludicrous. No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Suzuto-san? Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. You're I thought you were gonna be my Maya for this game. You can't hate me. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you too. I know that we heard her speaking in an English accent, but I'm kind of gonna give her, like I was giving her initially, I'm gonna just kind of give her my high-pitched normal girl voice. Because I feel we'll be voicing other British women. Other than Jesely, of course. But there is something I would like to ask you too. I think I read that already. Ugh, those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. I'm gonna kill you! This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I really have the crappiest luck. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's just go Kazuma's death. He really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream? And these handcuffs. They think I did it? They think I'm Kazuma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? Okay, of course that incriminates me, if I was the only one in here. There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these 4 walls. What? Or, to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? Not yet? This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? Are you still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Suzuto-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course, he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then? That's true, yes. I'm sure it's not going to be poison again. About the incident. Can't anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. And then you had to kill him. It's just crazy. It baffles me that we're the supposed perpetrator again. I was waiting outside his cabin as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Suzuto-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewmen forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside... There he is. There was Kazuma-sama collapsed on the floor. And I gotta get a good look at what that says. I know they said it's Russian, but I've played enough of these games to know it could be something written upside down or some other hidden meaning. And the white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. Yeah. We're always in the worst, most compromising situations. This is all very hard to believe for me too, trust me. Now I've told you everything that I know. So it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes? Alright. Ugh, my head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Okay, oh, now I'm answering your questions? Okay, stowaway. Why are you even on board the ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? See, if we had told her, like I wanted to, then maybe she'd be more inclined to believe us. Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. I mean it. Please believe me. He actually asked you. But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Me neither. Not yet, anyway. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? Tell me. It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of the incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it. I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. Plus, I'd always wanted to go to England. I've actually been there. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. I'll have plenty of time to tell you later. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Kazuma-sama he was always saying the same thing. That he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes then. It was darker than I've seen it before. He definitely had some other reason, or some additional reason. Suzuto-san? I'm sorry they kept it a secret from you. My stowing away on the ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me. to avoid me becoming guilty by association. Clever girl. That's exactly right, yes. Word perfect, in fact. You know him so well. Or knew him. Okay, last night. If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, don't tell me I don't remember. I don't really remember. Dang it, Ryunosuke! Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I... fell asleep? Well, yes. Was I maybe drugged? I ate dinner and then went in there, so like, was I drugged? Either by Kazuma himself, or... I don't know, some third party, maybe whoever prepared the food? Did I even read that? So deeply that I didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed? Yeah, that sounds like I must have probably been drugged or something. Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really, I do, but it's the truth. Believe me. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Think. Believe me. Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it. Please! I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could possibly have done this. Ugh. You're no Maya of mine. She would have believed me in an instant. Who's Maya? Never mind. Kazuma. I don't understand. Why? Why does this have to happen? Ugh, I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. I will shoot you. What? Nothing. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry. But Kazuma was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around? My hands tied? While whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. I won't! Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life, and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Hi-ya! Oh, jeez. Ow. Bleh. What the? That was a Susato takedown. Take that, you little... Susato, what? What martial art form is that? Susato style. Learn it. I'm going to need you to prove it. In a fight to the death. Sorry, prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already what you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. Okay. So you expect me to present some conclusive evidence. I accept your challenge. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. Kazuma would stick this over the doors of the wardrobe for me. It says, "Keep out" in Japanese. Though I'm not sure the Russian crew can actually read it. Okay, well, let's examine it, I guess, in more depth. This is the paper seal I wrote for the wardrobe. I remember really working hard to make it. But I'll never forget how Kazuma reacted. Do you expect the Russian crew to be able to read that? He said. Still, I was sure people would get the idea, even if they couldn't read it. So we used it anyway. And it worked. I don't know if the crew thought it was creepy or what, but no one opened the doors. Okay. Keep out. And it worked. Okay, and this is like the glue. You can see the remnants of the glue we used to stick this over the wardrobe doors. Although it wasn't proper glue, of course. We didn't have any of that with us. So I pulverized some rice into a paste to use instead. Ah, clever. But to a stowaway like me, every single grain of rice represents precious rations. That's why I spread it as thinly as I possibly could. I couldn't bear to waste any. Did it fall since he spread it so thin? Was it like not good glue and it fell and somebody came in? Okay, anyway, I think that's it. This is the only thing I have. I don't think there's any reason to examine this again, is there? Ah, the symbol of Yume University. Every student... Okay, I think this is the same dialogue.
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes, it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah, I hear ya. Yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Believe me now? Maybe? Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me? Oh, that's me. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here at least. Thank you! So you finally believe me. Making progress. I'm sorry. No. Sit down. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. Okay, where are you going with this? What does she think I am, a magician? I wish I could do that. For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. Ooh, this is a bop. I'll do the same. Alright, Maya. My new Maya. Let's get to work, Susato-san. Please, don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh, right. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. She really thinks I'm a mage. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death, buddy old pal. Okay, so we can present evidence to her. I can move to other places. I doubt I can now. I'm in handcuffs and under house arrest by the crew, not to mention Susato-san's constant glares. I think it's fair to say I'm stuck in this cabin. For the time being, at least. I should focus on investigating in here to see what I can find out. Worth a shot. Should I converse with her? I guess I can converse with her first and then look around. But first... Have you seen my badge? My collar pin, to be exact? Susato-san? About this. I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. But we don't have time to waste on anything else. We must find clues. She looks serious. Really quite deadly serious. Yeah, she doesn't seem to have much of a sense of humor. I hope she loosens up. Okay, let's see if she has anything else to say about this. Probably not. We already showed her this, so that makes sense. In past Ace Attorney games, usually showing like the badge or the pin, whatever, results in some funny dialogue. So hopefully we get some of that in this game. Let's talk to her first. Never mind. Okay. Examine. Oh, can we talk to you? Perhaps let's just see what this Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me? What? I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it's not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking investigator for information about his crime. Very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. He might have useful information, though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Is that a yes? And yet, of course not. Now back to a corner of room and make silent. I say no more to you. Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. Oh, dang it. My accent sucks. My apologies. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Suzuto-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused, I forget to look around properly. Ah yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? Okay, so I can actually... Okay. I'm sure you're careful to look all around using left and right, aren't you? I just tilt my head... never mind. Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Wow! I actually can turn my head. I thought I could only stare directly in front of me. Okay. Actually, I can't turn right. I can only turn my head left. Okay, so I talk to you. Check the door. When I went for help and the crewman forced the door open. This bolt had been firmly closed. It looks like, has it been like broken off? Because the part that's attached to the wall there looks messed up. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy. And it just slides across to secure the door shut. Maybe they said that. They might have had to like break the door down. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. Not looking good, Ryunosuke. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. Because those are totally legit. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. That makes you the perfect assistant. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. Darn it. Thought I was onto something. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. Again. I don't know why I said it like that. Okay, moving on. Obviously, I know there's like vital stuff like the body outline and the message. I'm kind of saving those. Because I know that those are things I know I need to examine, so I want to examine everything else. Seiji. The Japanese word for justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet you... Can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Nonsense. Even though you stowed away on this ship? Yeah, about that. Now you're gonna bring that up, are you? I can't win. Naruhodo. You'll get out of this one just like you did the last one. Okay, what's this tablecloth here? There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still. No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. I have amnesia again. Actually, no, I guess I didn't have amnesia the last case at all. So then perhaps You are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama, and you just don't remember it. You are guilty. No, no, no. Listen to me. Okay, what's this? Is this a key? I can't tell what that is. A bone, maybe? Oh, okay. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Why is it on the floor? Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? Oh, there you go. There's a smile. But, did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Suzuto-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no! Does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? Hopefully he had something else. It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Thanks, Suzette. Thanks, guilty conscience. Okay. I see a knife. Okay, except we can't examine it. I guess that's part of the dinner. A katana! That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on his trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. I mean, he was literally allowed to take it into a courtroom. He almost killed the prosecutor, remember? Okay. Got a little certificate or something on the wall. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. It's essentially a list of requirements from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Well, you can check that one as incomplete. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Hopefully, am I considered a pet in this case? What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? Definitely a pet in this case. I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Okay, a shelf of objects. The books have fallen over on the shelf, look. They've all toppled all the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea. Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked, and everything mown down at once. I wonder if... perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. I'm sure there's probably some significance. Then perhaps... I mean, we are on a ship. I suppose it could have just toppled over, you know, the ship rocking. It was you, Naruhodo-san? In a fit of rage? I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Okay. I mean, you're probably not supposed to tamper with a crime scene, but... maybe it'll uncover something. Okay, there's a lot of room. Okay, can't examine it again. Yeah, there's a lot of room on the shelf here. What's this on the floor? Looks like some kind of gem. Okay, whatever. It's selected. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. A bell? The picture made it look like a bell. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little, Netsuke fashioner from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? But you would, Suzuto. And the mark beside it. What is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It is the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. Maybe the real killer brought it, and it broke. Maybe Kazuma fought back, and it broke, and then they left with the other half. And check this desk over here. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. Okay, did he write anything useful? London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make it to his destination. I know, right? It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Oh, it looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hiya! Die, Ryunosuke! That's out of the question. What? Again? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important, something relevant to the case? I won't allow it! Oh, I didn't think of that, actually. Good point. Alright, I won't read it. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? I would say so. I mean, literally something Kazuma himself wrote might be important. Ugh, I better not find out later, like, we get to see it later on. It's like, oh, it is actually something pivotal. I don't know, before I look at this, let's see what's on this side of the room. Okay, not much. There's the wardrobe. Let's click, can I click the bed? I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of this place. Out of place. Huh, maybe this isn't the bed. Because there's actually a trophy. I was looking at the trophy. There's a trophy for examining the bed, but it doesn't look like you can examine it. What's this thing hanging? This is... Yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. Now, I said that thing on the floor looked kind of like a bell shape. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. And cool. Shall we give it a little try? Yes. In the interest of cultural research, obviously. Let's do it! Let's get our own little butler servant to help us. Aww. Suzuto's sad. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure that's just that everyone is busy, that's all. Don't hurt me again. Okay. That's done. There's a vent up here. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray can't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that? I suppose. Maybe that's it. Or maybe it's a convenient placement that somebody could use it to commit murder. Okay, let's check the drawer where I was locked up in. It's some 2 weeks since we've set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. I came out to eat and breathe. Oh, no. I suppose not. Might be. Although it must have been rather exciting making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Did you at least teleport to a magical land? No, This isn't Chronicles of Narnia. Okay. Okay. What else? What else? What else? Before I examine the actual crucial stuff. Okay. Let's check the body and the message. Did Cosmo write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Okay. I'm like actually tilting my head. I'm reading it upside down to see if I get anything from it. Then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. Your handwriting is terrible. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What? Then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. Could be Russian? In which case, I mean, unless Kazuma knows Russian, and even if he did, why would he write a message in Russian? So it could be that incriminates somebody else on the ship. A lot of Russian people here. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? What can it mean? Oh, what the? Hello there, Mr. Holmes, or Sholmes. Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he... You've noticed the man too, have you? I've no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall, suspiciously tall. Naruhodo-san, don't tell me you've never heard of the famous Herlock Sholmes. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. You idiot! He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And what is he doing? How is he standing or sitting so still? And is he investigating Cosmo's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Suzuto-san look almost uncontrollably excited? I love him! I need his autograph! By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case, if you press X on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. So I just have to draw an X on their chest. Oh, never mind! Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Okay. So I guess I have to examine and click on him. Excuse me? Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh. This is a critical point in my investigation. Okay, I'll be quiet. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Oh, that was me. Sorry. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Oh, there he is! Greetings, I hope... I hope I haven't kept you long. Hey there. He looks cool, I gotta say. What exactly were you doing on Cosmo's desk just now? Ooh, cool spy glasses, bruh. Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. Oh, I like this music. Is this his theme or something? The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. Like last time. But how? I am awesome. He is awesome, because he is Sherlock Holmes. Or Herlock Sholmes. How the deuce did I know that? Perhaps. It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? I'm trying to give him like a kind of a high energy British voice because he seems very kind of high strung. But of course, a great many things. There's no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. Say what? And when the venerable occupant of this very cavern discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Admit it. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. What's he smoking? I don't know. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? He's kind of a bit crazy. I like it. Certainly I am. Oh gosh. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name. I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. No, he's crazy. Don't believe him. What? And you're plotting a revolution too. Admit it. It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen. There's no way I... Hi-ya! Die! Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. Calm down, Susato. Oh, Susato. Ha 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 ha. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. I can't even do a Russian accent, as you've no doubt seen by now. Oh, forgive me. I tend to jump to conclusions. You don't say. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. That's how I do things. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it, you see. What do you make of that, Well, to be honest, the ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure I could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles. You see, I announce my findings with a brassy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. Kinda. Sometimes. Ha. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women of the world. The inimitable Herlock Sholmes. Don't you mean... No, I meant what I said. So it's really you, the actual Herlock Sholmes. The very same. The inimitable actual Herlock Sholmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world, Naruhodo-san? Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on, then? We must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. We have no need of you, Ryunosuke. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about that? Okay. First, do you have anything to say about this university collar pin? Mr. Sholmes? What do you make of this? Oh, dang it. No funny dialogue again? Shh. Quiet. When I'm ruminating in the court of my deductions, nothing must disturb my mind. Oh, so sorry. Ah, an Indian curry, perhaps? What's he ruminating about? The lunch menu? Okay, what about this? Oh, there we go. I've never seen anything like this. Most extraordinary writing. You said the same earlier this morning, I think. Indeed, but its uncommonness is so remarkable I felt the need to say it anew. Yes, I do believe. These characters may be a crude attempt at a Japanese script. What? Mr. Naruhodo, I don't like to be the one to tell you this, but I think Mr. Sholmes is trying to say that your handwriting is a little untidy. Is he making fun of me? How dare you, sir? Okay. Let's just have a little chat. The Great Detective. Let's go. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I'm none other than the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Got it memorized? Oh, I see. You're German? Herlock, was it? No, I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please call me Sholmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. I have about a bajillion books. Oh yes, Ranced magazine full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. Is that supposed to say interest or interesting? Maybe that's right. Interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Sounds familiar. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then. Hey, kinda like how I'm the protagonist of this game. What do you mean? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you start to think you really are a detective. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detectiving achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. I wonder if he'll appear in this game. Dr. Wilson? I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Hiya! Why, this very moment I am returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions on a subject. A furtive glance, a twist of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data. Right, okay, buddy. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can he look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Herlock Sholmes. He almost got it wrong. Okay, talk about Kazuma's death. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything, my dear fellow? Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force the cabin door open. and I concealed myself among their numbers, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Herlock Sholmes was on board. And the handcuffs seem to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. You. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, 2 facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh really? 2 facts, you say? Okay. Okay, we got more info, so what about these 2 facts? Mr. Sholmes, tell us, please. What 2 facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes. But first, let us be precise. The 2 facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The 2 facts that I deduced with more momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1. The cabin was locked from within, rendering escape from the culprit out of the question. Number 2. The victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. What made you think the victim was Russian? It had to do with the writing, right? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. However you say that. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Do you really think Cosmo-san could have left a dying message in Russian? That's what I want to know. That seems unlikely. In their final moments may find their native language fitting their head. For this young man, Russian. Was he Russian? Cosmo was Russian, was he? Yeah, I don't buy it. First of all, his name doesn't strike me as Russian. Initially, I considered Godrobe may be the name of the killer. A certain Robert God, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? So he's kind of just filling in the blanks, like he's making certain deductions, and then he's making this also like this other like fantastical deductions based off of what he found. Interesting. I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniform is the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. But we're both disappointed today, aren't we? I took a photograph of the victim in the message that I might analyze it for more possible hidden details. And what did you find? Oh. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Cosmo had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Okay, so we're getting a picture of the body in the incident. Yeah, it's gotta be hard to see. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. Okay, the photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. The Russian word for wardrobe in purple ink. It would appear to have been written in the victim's final moments. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? I'll take a look at that after this dialogue. Hopefully I don't forget. What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that? Oh yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? That. Certainly, if it interests you. Koheyo. How many times? I'm not Russian. I don't speak Russian. I don't know how to read it either, so stop giving me things to say in Russian. Your deduction just now. Yeah, let's do that. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean. Ah, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, It was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part. Oh yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads... Let's see, what do we got? Ooh, that guy looks menacing. Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia in Shanghai, via Shanghai. Now, if I remember correctly, didn't they mention in the last case that, what's her name, Jeslie Brett was, going to Shanghai? Like, traveling there right after the trial that we had? I still think she's got to be tied up in all this somehow. Since when was Cosmo a Russian? I mean, there's a chance he could be, maybe part Russian. It sounds like Mr. Sholmes had concluded he was Russian because of what Cosmo-san wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who could kill the very man who helped him to escape until his true identity was discovered. Yes, you. Villain Bolshevik. No, no, no. How could it be me? That's not my name. Yeah, really. Do I look anything like that? I don't look anything like this man. You just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Maybe you just shaved your beard and put on some makeup. I don't know, I'm just making this up as I go along. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Ugh, please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. Oh, I didn't say that out loud. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Ah yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far, and those he is plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? Nah, I don't know. And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik had recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it, anyway? This Afghanistan place. Never heard of it. Nah, I'm kidding. Here, take the paper for yourself. As a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I've absorbed all of this as of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. The article about the revolutionary has been entered into the court record. Okay? I still didn't read the last thing. An article on the front page of a Russian newspaper. The headline reads, Revolutionary Villain Bolshevik Flees Russia via Shanghai. I was gonna say, his first name sounds like villain, like a villain. That's a bit on the nose. If that is meant to be a pun. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back? Cast your eye over it for some time if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Will do, will do. Okay, before I continue... Actually, I don't know if I needed to exit that, but... Let's just take a closer look at these, okay? I think we read that. So, here's the picture. They give you a magnifying glass. There'll probably be moments where you have to zoom in on something. Something that's hard to see. But yeah, I'm trying to make sense of that. I'm not really sure. Rap-a-po. Even upside down it doesn't make sense. Okay. Now we can actually read this. Okay, we can't actually read it. Yeah, I can't actually see that. There's our guy. I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. No, me neither. I have no idea what any of this says. The pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Yes, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. Oh my goodness, he is fearsome. What a beard. Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. Okay, so that's the picture. Okay, what about the back here? Ooh, who are you? A queen? Okay, you're probably the only one of interest. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no. I mean, it looks like it might be of interest, or might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She looks pretty. She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. You like staring at the pretty girls, Ryunosuke? Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article. Ah! She flips him. Hiya! Oh, sorry, Mr. Sholmes. Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why was her name so hard to remember? Beats me. For me, Japanese names can be kind of difficult too. Not gonna lie. It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh. How much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Suzuro-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance to all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay. The article about ballerina. An article on the back page of a Russian newspaper. The headline reads, Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Cool. Okay. And I guess that is all she wrote. So... Okay. Is this... Okay, now it gives... I was gonna say. So one of the things I'm wondering, we didn't get a good look at it, but they brought up this tiara. We can't... This is a black and white print, obviously. We can't see what color they are. But we have what I said looked like some kind of jewel or something on the floor of the... You know, of the bedroom. I don't know if it has anything to do with that. I'm just looking. Just looking. Okay. Now, I don't know if you have anything additional to say, but what happens if I present this now? Or even this. You know, let's finish the conversation. Well, nah, I'll do it now. Because I don't know if anything will, like, cause him to go away. Wrong button. Okay. Nothing. Quite. You showed me that already. Get it out of my sight. What were you just investigating? Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Oh yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. Show me. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. But I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. I'm talking about Suzuta. Or Suzuto. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? I told you, Suzuto, we should have read it. It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Suzuto takedown is. Probably not gonna happen. Suzuto-san, aren't you gonna throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? The Suzuto takedown, let's do it. Kill him! I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? That is only reserved for you. Life is so unfair. Oh well. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. You just said you read it. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, Bonsai, Mikado, Nado Nado. I trust you suitably impressed? Yeah. Sure. But this diary is littered with complicated looking characters of which I can read precisely none. Oh, I jest. Oh, silly me. So what was all that showing off about before then? I just wanted to look cool. If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm much obliged, my dear madam. Oh, what a gentleman! Swoon! The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. Okay. I don't remember what time he died. We don't have like a, like a autopsy report or anything like that yet. Okay, so we heard a whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Okay, it comes back around to the speckled band, does it? Now, I'm thinking, like, that little cutscene we had at the beginning was, like, kind of, like, introduce the case. I don't know that they're actually talking about the snake, which I guess, obviously in that story, they were referring to the snake as the speckled band. But I guess there could have been, like, a speckled band could be, like, I don't know, like, maybe a patterned, handkerchief or scarf or something, I don't know. And it was, dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? I don't know what does that mean. I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Kazuma's diary. A diary of Kazuma was keeping of his trip to London. According to the last entry he made before his death, he spied what appeared to be a speckled band. Okay. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim we're writing in his diary have piqued my interest. Hiya! The matter warrants further investigation, I believe, and if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to? Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at the stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate, hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Yeah. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No? There's no point trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. Huh. So why am I frickin' handcuffed? You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. Yeah. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really. So what, were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was the end of... well, what? That was then, and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Ha 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 ha! Now he's just being plain rude. I slay myself. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? Hmm? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way I can... Hiya! She gonna like... Ouch. After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give it up? What are you talking about? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? Ugh. As if you gave me any choice on the rolling over part. On your knees, soldier. So I guess the point is I'm going to just walk around in handcuffs? I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this. And bring the real culprit to justice. Is that? Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no. It's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling I've seen him somewhere before. Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes? What can I do for you? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's, what was his name? The police guy, right? I recognize that face, but it can't be. Yep. You are You're mistaken. It is. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. There we go, that's his name. Hello again. Okay, good. I can give him what I was giving Kazuma. They kind of have the same voice. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you. My heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board the ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board. But perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. Oh boy. Okay, we're just approaching an hour and a half. It seems like there's still a lot more to go. And we're not even done with this room yet, but I think this is a good place to stop the video. So yeah, we've been introduced to Herlock Sholmes. And he's an interesting character, that's for sure. Kind of a whack job, but, you know, we'll see if he's as bright as, like, you know, if he's actually as bright as, like, Sherlock Holmes is, or if they lean into the more absurd side of him, you know? It'll be interesting to see what his character's like. I definitely hope we learn more about him. This guy's back, Hosonaga. I was not expecting to see him, so I wonder if he'll just kind of appear in random disguises throughout the rest of these cases. That would be kind of fun and interesting. In the next video, like I said, we talked to him. They said that there's a little bit more to examine in this room, and then I guess we go into the next room to find clues there. Because there obviously must be some kind of connection between the two rooms and the murder. I don't know if the vent is big enough for somebody to crawl through. And I still have no idea what that writing could mean. A lot of questions, but that's all part of the game, isn't it? We'll find out what's going on later. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please go ahead and like the video if you're enjoying this series, or if obviously if you are enjoying this video. And subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying my content and want to support me. Hit that notification bell so you know when more Ace Attorney games go up, or episodes rather go up. And also leave a comment down below. I want to know what you guys think. Obviously no spoilers like I've said, but if you haven't played the game and maybe have some theories, or you just want to tell me what you think of the game so far, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to chat with you guys. So that's it for now. I will see you in the next episode. Take care, and bye-bye.